Ever since Bioware dropped that teaser for the next Mass Effect game over 5 years ago at the Game Awards, fans have been poring over every frame for clues. The trailer, it was just under 2 minutes, showed a masked figure, later revealed as Liara T'Soni digging up a battered N7 helmet in the snow. Bioware project director Mike Gamble hyped that first reveal by tweeting, "There was a lot to unpack. Even that brief tease dropped massive hints, a Reaper horn sound, the silhouette of a Reaper lurking in the frozen background, and Gamble later confirmed the giant machine in the snow really was a Reaper, implying that the new story picks up in the Milky Way after Shepard's final battle." Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos, and today we're going to cover everything we know about the next Mass Effect game, hypothetically Mass Effect 5. From rumors to leaks to confirmed information, when could we actually see this game and get it in our hands? The story, the plot, everything. We're going to cover it all, including some recent teases about the future of the game from Mike Gamble, project director himself. So drop a like, make sure you're subscribed, turn on those notifications. And in that trailer, Liara unearths N7 armor and smiles. Now, fans immediately speculated whether the scene is on Earth, which is a hint that it could be a direct sequel to the original trilogy. Others, they saw the more far-out connections to Mass Effect Andromeda with this. For example, the word Godspeed spoken in Andromeda's launch scene is included in the trailer's audio, and Gamble admits that that was intentional. Now, the phrase Godspeed can faintly be heard when a ship takes off in the trailer, and Gamble confirmed that that was an Easter egg. This led to many to theorize the next game may bridge the gap between the original series and the Andromeda sequel, perhaps even revisiting the Helios cluster, which is super interesting. Now, later on, an official concept art added fuel to the fire for the community. On N7 Day 2020, Bioware released a key art titled Mudskipper. It was a battered ship on a strange planet with 4 shadowy figures walking away. Now, Bioware's Casey Hudson cautioned that we were in the early stages on the project and we couldn't say any more, but fans still read the silhouette closely. I mean, 2 look like a Drell and a Solarian, flipped art assets from Mass Effect 2, and 1 unmistakably resembles an Angaran, and that's from Andromeda. The presence of an Angara, a species native only to Andromeda's galaxy, will that set off a frenzy of fan theories? Are we bringing Jaal and other Andromeda heroes into the story? If so, that timeline might be hundreds of years after ME3, long enough for Liara to still be alive and for the Andromeda characters to reconnect with Milky Way events. Casey Hudson later tweeted that they have so many ideas, so much concept, stories yet to tell in the Mass Effect universe, and it teased that even more pieces of this puzzle are waiting in the wings. So let's talk about official updates and the studio news, the stuff that's confirmed. After the initial teaser, Bioware went quiet on hard details. We did see messages of reassurance from the team. For example, on N7 Day 2023, Mass Effect franchise director Mike Gamble published a heartfelt letter thanking fans and hinting that answers do exist, but you're just going to have to wait for them. He reminded players to expect cryptic N7 Day teasers, and Bioware itself has also reaffirmed the project's existence in early 2025. EA execs publicly promised that the next Mass Effect is still Bioware's top focus, and that the studio will be agile and goal-oriented about it. In other words, yes, the game is coming. Mass Effect 5 is coming, but only when it's ready. Now, in the meantime, the studio has dealt with some turbulence. Dragon Age: The Veilguard underperformed, so EA laid off staff, including some veterans of Mass Effect. Those departed developers were even shuffled over to help with Dreadwolf, leaving only a smaller team on the new Mass Effect, which doesn't make any sense to me. In early 2025, we also learned the new ME project is still in pre-production. It only got rolling around 2019, and put it all together, and insiders warn it could be a very long development cycle. And then Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb himself says we should expect a timeline like Dragon Age, announced long before the release, predicting that Mass Effect 5 won't arrive until later in the decade. He's thinking around 2029. He explained that Dreadwolf was revealed in 2018 and still isn't out until just recently. Using the same math, the new Mass Effect won't land before 2029. Grubb even said the 2023-2024 N7 Day teasers were mainly to just kind of, I guess you could say, pacify the fans, not a full reveal of content of any sort. And another report citing Grubb similarly concluded that the game is very far from release. Now, industry insiders have suggested gameplay changes too. One rumor via Windows Central's Jez Corden is that Bioware scrapped Andromeda's open world design, and they are instead returning to the franchise's classic linear storytelling style. If that's true, That means fewer sprawling planets, thanks to the Reaper gods, and more focused mission structure, which that may have fans... I don't know. I think fans may actually prefer that. We'll have to wait and see. Now, I talked at the beginning of the video about Mike Gamble and his cryptic hints between official channels and rumors. We do have some developer-led breadcrumbs here. Project director Mike Gamble has been very active on social. He publicly promised that the new Mass Effect will stay true to its roots. Mass Effect is Mass Effect, he tweeted. Photorealistic and will be as long as I'm running it. He specifically said the game will maintain the mature tone of the original trilogy, which is a good thing, addressing fans worried after Dragon Age's shift in art style. And in casual tweets, he even dropped indirect story hints. For example, during a Steam sales spike and new Mass Effect 1 players, Gamble quipped that there's an extra game worth of DLC, but make sure you play Lair of the Shadow Broker, and then he said thanks. That very DLC is centered around Liara and reveals lore about the Shadow Broker, a clue that Liara and possibly the Broker's fate will tie into the new Mass Effect game. As PC Gamer noted themselves, Liara's presence in Mass Effect 5 is now effectively confirmed. So between Gamble's post and the artwork, it's safe to say that Liara will be a key figure in the game. Fans have also speculated, will we see any old crew, Garrus, Tali, or even Clone Mordin? I mean, concept art hints show a Solarian outline. Now, Gamble's post reminds the community to savor the details. For example, he pointed fans toward Legendary Edition Citadel DLC as a flavor of story they might want to revisit. He even discusses Mass Effect community content cheerfully on X, which keeps the hype alive. Bottom line is, the team is listening, reassuring us that core elements, which are the atmosphere, grit, even the red-blue Paragon Renegade vibe, aren't going away. He's basically laying it out for us without really laying it out for us. Now let's get into the crazy. Now, official news, it's kind of thin, we've covered it, but fans, they know how to fill the void with theories. The hottest topic is how the new game connects to the existing lore. Many believe it ties to the Milky Way trilogy and then to Andromeda's timeline. Why? Well, aside from Liara's cameo, there were other clues. For example, in the trailer, Liara uncovers an N7 helmet. Some fans spotted she seems to be on a world with a sky like Earth's. Could this be our own planet in the far future, or simply another human colony? If it is Earth, that suggests a very, very direct sequel. Now, others think we'll jump ahead centuries, allowing the Andromeda expedition descendants or even original members to actually reappear. The concept art silhouettes, well, they kind of scream crossover. They do. There's another Easter egg in that trailer. You can faintly hear what we talked about, Godspeed, the same word said during the launch of Andromeda's arcs, and Gamble confirmed it was deliberately placed in the trailer. So fans have taken that as evidence that ME5 will somehow acknowledge the events of Andromeda, maybe even showing what happened after the Pathfinders left Sol. Now let's talk about speculation on returning characters. Reddit it's out there. If Liara's around and she's been leading the shadowy underside of Galactic Intel since Shadow Broker, will we see her old squad mates? Could the Krogan or Turians have a new leader named after Shepard's legacy? What about the Geth or Elusive Man? No official hints on it, but you can expect debates, and gameplay theories are out there. Will the Paragon Renegade morality will be back? Something new. Leakers have hinted no open world, which we talked about, but what about co-op like Mass Effect 3 or even VR? I'm not really on the VR bandwagon, but it is what it is. So what do we really know for sure? Bioware has emphatically confirmed a new Mass Effect is in the works. They've given us a teaser, some gorgeous concept art, but almost no plot details. We know that Liara T'Soni is involved and at least one Reaper remnant shows up. We also know the game is in very early stages, still prototyping most possibly, and insiders say it won't hit shelves until sometime after 2028 at the earliest. The developer line is that Mass Effect 5 will feel like Mass Effect, photorealistic, mature, and that trademark sci-fi RPG depth. Everything else is educated guesswork. Fans love debating the clues, but until Bioware officially speaks or shows more, we're going to treat the rumor and theory with a pinch of N7 dust here. Meanwhile, we will eagerly rewatch those trailers, replaying Legendary Edition and theorizing on Reddit. Just follow Mike Gamble's breadcrumbs. After all, the bigger the mystery, the more epic the saga when it finally does unfold. Let me know if you guys are excited about it. What do you want most from this game?